Welcome to the Remarkables podcast. I'm Jess Fox, Grant Thornton's brand ambassador, and today I am excited to be taking over the podcast to have a conversation with a friend, a fellow athlete, an inspiring role model, and someone that I really admire, Dylan Alcott.
Not every day one of Australia's greatest athletes gives you a call and says, can you come on my podcast with Grant Thornton? So I was like, Jess Fox, I'll come.
You'll come,
I'll
be
come.
here.
So I really appreciate you having me here.
No,
this is cool.
It's a
We've known each other for
you.
over a decade?
I'd say so.
Kind of when our sports were a bit off Broadway, I would say.
Off Broadway.
Right? Is that a good way to put it? We hadn't won gold medals. We were like doing sport, like the Paralympics wasn't getting in the mainstream. Your sport wasn't in the mainstream. We kind of like became friends. And now it's pretty cool to see, what you're doing. Very proud.
Well, I mean, I was meant to introduce you and how
Sorry,
incredible
but I just
you
want to get
are,
off my chest,
but it is wonderful to be here and finally have this conversation. And I think, when I was thinking about how to introduce you, there is no one word or profession to describe you, Dylan. Like you are, except maybe an all-round legend.
Thank you.
But you are a business owner, a motivational speaker, a philanthropist, radio host, TV personality and actor, an author, former Australian of the Year. And before all of that, you were a champion wheelchair basketball and tennis player, multiple Paralympic champion. Did I miss anything?
I like to say washed up athlete.
Washed up athlete.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what I go with. Washed up Australian of the Year, washed up athlete. Yeah.
Well, today we're going to touch on a bit of everything. I'm sure it'll be an inspiring chat. Thanks for joining us. I am looking forward to, the coffee's coming in. You ordered a iced double espresso. Big week.
I'm very Melbourne. You know what I mean? So
you're very Melbourne.
Yeah. So every time I order a double espresso on ice, everyone's like, where are you from? I'm like, the inner north of Melbourne. It's very Melbourne coffee.
But you're a busy man. You've had a big week. What does a week look like for you these days?
Oh, I do lots of cool things. I think I'm very lucky. I'm not too dissimilar to you, Jess. Like we just have good people around us, right, who enable us to get out and do our jobs. That's why we're here with Grant Thornton today. Like they support you so well. And, I think the foundation is one thing that I'm really proud of, the Dylan Alcott Foundation. Average name, I know, very unoriginal name. We're in a rush. And the
DAF?
The DAF. Thank you. We're trying to rebrand it the DAF. But everyone's like, Dylan Alcott. I'm like, stop saying my name. We directly invest in young kids with disabilities. So we have hundreds of kids that we're paying to go to school and university, sporting equipment. We had 11 athletes go to the Paralympics. How cool is that? With our academy we do with Nike. We have, we supported young musicians who are now, with cerebral palsy, name's Cooper, he's playing in Ibiza now, right?
Wow.
How cool is that, right?
That's so special.
And also run awareness campaigns in advertising and a bunch of different things. And I'm really love that. I do a lot of speaking like you do. And it's pretty cool that you and I get trusted to get up there on stage and share our stories and, help people. It kind of makes, I know it makes you and I feel weird. Like we're just kind of being ourselves, but the impact that it has is awesome. And we both work on 9 together. We do TV. I've been acting, as you said, which is cool, which I'm sure we'll get into. So my mantra in life is I just love doing cool stuff with cool people. And I'm just very lucky that a lot of people keep backing me so we can get out there and do it.
Oh, and it's incredible just listening to you rattle off that list, the different industries you've tapped into, the number of people you've inspired and impacted and supported. I'm sure in a way it feels like you're giving back because so many people helped and supported you along the way. And I think, what would little Dylan think of all of this? Take me back to what he was like as a kid and what were his dreams?
Oh, it's so funny. We're doing this chat today. Oh, our coffees are here. Keep it live. Don't cut. Don't cut.
That was a nice moment.
I just want everyone to know on the podcast, I'm a diva. And I got here, I was like, mate, can I have a coffee, please? So keep this in the edit, all right? Thank you. I love that. Cheers.
Enjoy your double espresso on ice.
I'll be on the plane just to Jack. Oh, we're back. All right. You know what? I had a cool moment yesterday. I own a wheelchair company called Rove Wheelchairs, right? They're 3D printed titanium carbon wheelchairs. And I remember when I got my first wheelchair, I hated it, right? I hated it. And I was so embarrassed about my disability. I wasn't proud of the person that I was. And I believed this shame story that having a disability, the media told me, movies told me, TV told me that having a disability is the worst thing that can happen to you outside of death, right? And we all believe that. You might have, your parents, my friends, whatever. And we had this, we're in Sydney at the moment, and we had this day where people came and checked out our wheelchairs, and there was just hundreds of kids, right? And I'm like, I used to hate my wheelchair. Now I've got a company where kids are coming in saying, I want this wheelchair, right? It's just such a full circle moment. And I'm very little Dylan really wasn't proud of his disability, right? And I never thought, I sat at home, I got bullied about it, and I sat at home for 2 years of my life, eating junk food, playing video games, not even wanting to go to school and leave the house. And the biggest regret that I ever had in my life was I didn't tell anybody how I felt for 2 years. I didn't tell my brother, my friends, my family, because I felt like an embarrassment on them. And I learned back then, very young, when I was like 15, the power in being vulnerable, right? The power in asking for help when you need it. We as leaders, you're a leader, we don't have all the answers, do we? Like, people think you know everything about canoe and kayak. You don't know everything, right? You just know what you know, and you're always trying to get better. I don't know everything about disability. I just know my lived experience, right? And I think leaders, especially in business, think we have to be these stoic legends who have all the answers. Yes, you've got to be strong sometimes, but it's not weakness to say, hey, can you come here and do this with me? Right? Yeah. That's not a sign of weakness. And I learned that really young, and it's helped me become who I am. And once I asked for help, I realized I was being silly. And for every one idiot that gave me a hard time because of my disability, there were 10,000 other legends, worth my time. And I think little Dylan the advice I would give him is say, one, get a better haircut, because I had a shocking haircut. I think I tried to make dreadlocks out of it. It's a rite of passage for everyone, isn't it? I would tell him to move his bed out of the pantry because I was eating way too much junk food, and I was a lot bigger than I am today. But thirdly, I'd be like, mate, be proud of who you are and get out there, be a good person and enjoy your life. Right? That's what I would say. And I'm doing that now, which is pretty cool. And I think he'd be pretty stoked to be seeing what I'm doing, even sitting here right now.
Absolutely. You mentioned how tough school was for you. How did sport help you through that? Was there a moment where sport changed the way you saw yourself?
Oh, yeah, great question. Sports saved my life. And people think I'm just saying that flippantly. It didn't. And I'll give an example why. I loved sport. Like you love sport. We're from Australia. We love sport. Your parents were obviously great athletes. And I played with my brother, right? And, he's my best mate. He'd throw balls at me. If I don't catch it, it's going to hit me in the face, right? So, and I was good with my hands because I obviously skipped leg day. So I was very hand dependent. And I remember going to school, and in the playground I'd get involved. But then, when it was proper sport, I'd be the manager or the timekeeper.
Yeah.
And I'd be like,
not included.
This sucks. Yeah. I'm kind of included. I'll try my best, but I couldn't play. And then I found Paralympic sport, and I remember there was one place in Victoria that played wheelchair tennis. I'm from Melbourne. It was in a place called Footscray, which wasn't near my house. And it was a 1.5 hour drive there, 1.5 hour drive back. Only place to play tennis. And I went there when my parents drove me. And I remember I played my first tennis tournament when I was 11. I was really bad in a place called Thaguna. Do you know where Thaguna is?
Never heard of it.
Just outside of Albury, Wodonga.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to this tournament, and I saw a guy in a wheelchair driving a car. I didn't know he could do that. He had a family.
Yeah.
I didn't know he could do that. He was having a beer. I wasn't. I was 11, but he was having a beer, and he had a smile on his face, and I wasn't happy, right? And I remember looking at that and thinking the social element of sport was the best part of my career. Meeting people like me, finding my community, my tribe, seeing people thriving with a purpose. Gold medals and Grand Slams are great, you'll agree. But it's not the best part about what we do. I want to hear your point of view on this, but it's not, right? It's like, yes, when I remember I was there when you won in Paris, right? Unbelievable. And your sister. The best part about that was your family being there and you celebrating with them. Like, that's the best part, correct? Like, that's what I remember when I won gold. Like, yes, I remember being on the podium and you had the best celebration ever when you cheered and that, but it's like it's the journey there and sharing that moment for me. And that's why that social element of all what we do and the emotional part's the best bit.
Yeah, it's amazing because people often just see the gold medals, the Grand Slams, but we talk about sport as so powerful to find connection and build skills like resilience. And then, I've heard so many athletes, Olympians and Paralympians, talk about it in the sense of finding belonging as well, and the way, the feelings that sport evokes. And to me, it really resonates because it sounds like you've taken those experiences that you've had as a kid that, that really shaped you, and then the confidence that you build as an athlete, and you've been able to create impact and make something that's so much bigger than just sport. So I want to know, what are some of those things that you're doing with the Dylan Alcott Foundation, Ability Day? How have you brought that into schools and learned from your experiences?
Yeah, I think, and I say, jokingly, like you and I did do sports that weren't in the mainstream, right?
Yeah.
For me, disability at all wasn't in the mainstream, right? So I'd won a gold medal in wheelchair basketball when I was 17 and a silver medal in London. And no one really knew, right? A little bit, not really. And then I went to tennis and I played my first Australian Open in 2014 because I played both as a kid. And my first match, there was 4 people there at the Australian Open and 3 of them were my family. My last match, there was 20,000 people at Rod Laver, 100 million people watched on TV globally, and the Channel 9 News held the news to watch the match point because the last time they did it was Shane Warne's 700th wicket. That's a wheelchair athlete, Paralympian. But I don't care about any of that. The best thing about that, there was 500 kids in wheelchairs there. That was the best part of that day. Never seen that many kids in wheelchairs in one spot in my life, right? That's what it's cool.
Goosebumps.
It's amazing, right? And it now when you've done it, like you, everyone's like, yeah, it's just normal, right? But it just wasn't normal. Like, you know, I didn't sit down and like scream watching canoe kayak ever until I met you.
Yeah.
Right? Ever. Right. But now I'm like,
now you're ducking gates with me.
Now I'm like, I was there, I was dying. I was about to fall out of my chair. I was so into it, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now it seems normal, right? Because you've done it. And it's nice to reflect sometimes. I try not to. You don't reflect. We don't. But like, that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
I get out of bed every day to change perceptions. My purpose is to change perceptions so all people with disability can get out and live the lives they deserve to live. And that's what we do at the foundation. Like you said, Ability Day, which is our new initiative on International Day of People with Disability, a schools program. You went to school, correct? How many minutes of disability education did you do in 13 years?
I couldn't tell you.
0.
Yeah.
I did none. I had to educate my mates.
Yeah.
Right? As a 13-year-old. That's hard. Right? And I didn't do it because I was scared. So to go into schools and create content and educate them that you should be proud of your disability. Disability is not bad. It's a normal part of life, right? And we can do so many things when we are given the chance and our lived experience is heard. That's why we do it. We run a music festival called Ability Fest, which is our big fundraiser event. It's just like Coachella or Glastonbury or Beyond the Valley. We just have some added accessibility features so people with disability can come party with their able-bodied mates. Auslan interpreters on stage, every lyric. You ever seen Auslander rap music? Unbelievable. Like crazy. We have like pathways, platforms, sensory rooms for the neurodivergent community. And how cool is this? Like I went to Coachella. I go there a bit. I'm very lucky that one of my best mates, very proud of him, is a guy called Dom Dollar, who's a big musician. I went with Dom and
just name drop, casually.
Yeah, name drop. Yeah. And the head of like Coachella reached out as like accessibility and that. I was like, mate, we just love what you do at Ability Fest and we do some of this stuff here. How cool is that, right?
Yeah.
Like all the major events in Australia, the tennis, the Australian Open, the Australian Grand Prix, all these like music events, they all come to Ability Fest and now do the stuff we do at their events. Why? Because people with disability want to go to events.
Yeah.
That's why. And you make more money, right, when you are accessible and inclusive. Yes, it's the right thing to do, but it's good business being inclusive and accessible as well, because there are 5.5 million people in Australia alone with some form of disability, visible, non-visible, 1 in 5 Australians. And we are getting left out of this economic conversation as consumers, but also as employees, as friends, as partners, you know, to be able to do that. And yeah, we just keep, as I said, trying to do cool stuff to shine a light on it and base it built on disability experience with the people that we work with.
I think I've heard you say before that, you know, it's not just about the ramps and the lifts. Like that's the hardware. I think you might have used that language before. I don't know. That's super important.
This is exactly right. Where'd you get it?
I've done a bit of research.
Look at this. I love this.
That's important for the inclusive environments. But I think it doesn't stop there. It's also about the attitude, the software.
The software.
The attitudes and the opportunities.
And the unconscious bias.
And listening to the lived experiences. And, you know, obviously this is a program with, you know, the Ability Days are mostly targeted for schools. You've got the festivals, but what can workplaces learn from it and how can they, you know, get involved as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I love that you said that because I'll give you an example. We're in a very, very fancy podcast studio right now. It's beautiful, right? It could have all the ramps and rails and screen readers they want. But if I roll into this room and people treat me differently because I'm disabled, there's no point having that stuff. That's called, the ramps and rails are accessibility. The other part is inclusion. They're not the same thing, right? And you can upskill and change the way you think about disability just by making an effort, right? And the best way to do it, is I say there's 3 things to get a start. First and foremost, I keep saying this word, but it's so important. Listen to lived experience. Don't tell me what I need. Ask me what I need, right? Because I'll be able to tell you. And the best way to do it is, I always say, if you want to find out something about your able-bodied coworker or non-disabled coworker, what do? You ask them a question. I'm not saying go up to some guy in a pub who looks like me in a wheelchair and say, what happened to you, champion, right? That's not the right way to do it. Obviously, you've got to build a rapport. But you can ask people questions to make it more inclusive for people. Lift your expectations of what you think we can do. I always say as a joke, people say to me, what kind of job would someone like you be able to do in a wheelchair? And I say, be your boss. And they go, you like it? And they're like, it shocks them. I go, what? Why not? I go, you know what I mean? I don't even know what you do, but I could. And it's always like a funny way to check them. I go, some people with disability might want to love packing shelves. That's what they want to do. Other people might want to be a CEO. Don't know. Ask them. But you've got to have an expectation that we can contribute equally, if not better to, than anybody else. That's second. And all that is irrelevant if you don't provide opportunities. That's the third thing. If you place a glass ceiling on us, we won't be able to smash that unless we do it together. It's about co-designing, allyship, and getting it done together. It's not you doing it for us or we telling you how to do it. So let's do it together, right? And those opportunities, like, I'm not here living my life because of what I've done. It's because people opened the door so I could come through. Television, podcasts like this, you and Grant Thornton invited me in, and this is like powerful stuff because you get the opportunity to talk about it. And I won Australia of the Year. Can you believe that? Do you remember when we were
I can't believe that.
Like, we were like at the AFL grand final together, like no one knew who we were. And we're like, hey, how you doing? I'm Jess and Dylan. We were being little rat bags there together. Like it's incredible. And that's not because of me, it's because of we. I always say we won Australian of the Year. We won 15 singles Grand Slams. Everyone's like, you did. I'm like, no, without my team, but my family, my friends, but most importantly, the Australian population caring, telling their kids about disability, turning on the TV, that created this. So I got the platform to say things I'm passionate about, and then next minute things like that happen, which is just crazy to think.
It really comes back to that. You can be what you can see.
Exactly.
And I feel like you are putting it out there everywhere you go. You're leaving this, this Dylan magical trail and carving the path for so many people behind you, I think.
And that's what it's about. Like, I just want to be redundant one day, right? Because I want there to be so many people with disability on TV, so many people in the workplace, so many people in leadership positions in the workplace, in politics. So we don't have to talk about this anymore, right? And we're getting there, and that's the way we want to move forward.
I'm always inspired by people who can reinvent themselves, who can win, who can keep winning, who can maybe, find new ways and innovate. And you did that in not one but 2 sports. And so I want to know, what was your mindset that allowed you to, move from a team sport into an individual sport, to go from, Grand Slam to Grand Slam, the pressure, expectation?
Yeah, I fell into it. So I thought I was going to retire from sport in 2012 after London. I was done with basketball. I went backpacking around the world by myself in my wheelchair with a few mates in different spots, which was an awesome experience. Learned a couple of valuable lessons. One, if you ever need help in life, just ask for it, and 99% of people will help you, even with a different language. Secondly, I cannot tell you how many stairs there are in Europe.
I'm visualizing the Paris Underground and what a nightmare that would be.
It was like an episode of Wheelchair Survivor. I was like, oh, another broken elevator. But we got through it. It was awesome. And I got back and just had a hit of tennis to get fit again, and realized that I loved it. And, did I think I was going to win 15 Grand Slam singles titles? We were ranked number 1 in the world 5 straight years, 3 more gold medals. Like, absolutely not. But how's this? When I went from basketball to tennis, I lost my first 9 finals in a row because 2 reasons. One, there's no clock in tennis, right? In basketball, if you're up by 20 points, you just hold the ball, you win. Or you get subbed off if you suck, which I did sometimes. Tennis, you got to do something. I just got the ball in. I kept losing. Secondary, I felt like a bit of a fraud out there originally because I kind of got it so quickly, but just how people kind of perceived it, if that makes sense. And then I remember being in there. I was very lucky. The tennis, is the only Paralympic sport where we are included in the mainstream able-bodied event, right? Like I got voted in the World All-Star 5 in basketball, so the best 5 in the world. I never met LeBron James. In the locker room of the Australian Open, Roger Federer calls me Dill because he's in the locker next to me. Crazy. That's why all this happened, right?
Yeah.
So grateful for that. I got friends, Ash Barty, Andy Murray, the Serenas of the world, like they backed wheelchair tennis. It was good enough for them. It's good enough for everyone else. That's why I backed that we could do this and change the perception. But I remember seeing them behind closed doors, and you'll know this as an athlete, like people are so different. What works for them works for them. Don't try and be someone you're not, because when you perform, when the pressure's on, you won't win, right? Because your subconscious knows that you're fronting and not being your authentic self to be able to perform at your best. And I'm a firm believer. I love this. One of my favorite sayings is, I hate it when people say, Jess Fox rose to the occasion. Right? Do you know why? No one rises to the occasion. You actually sink back to your habits.
You fall to the level of your training.
Thank you very much. And if you're training, if you're being your authentic self, and you know what my authentic self is? I'm actually really fun out there. I have fun. I'm chatty to myself. I say things like "good shot, Dill" to myself.
You got to coach yourself
Positive
through those
self-talk.
moments. Yeah.
Guess what I wasn't doing? I go on the court. I wasn't doing it because I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And then I went, whoa. I saw how Roger got ready for a match. He's like doing his hair in the mirror and like, being very chill and saying g'day. I saw Rafa, who is one of the lovely dude, but so lovely, always say g'day, but before a match, he's super intense.
Yeah.
And I thought, I got to be intense. And I'm like, oh, but I'm not actually an intense guy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I realized, wow, I've just got to sink back to the level of my training and sink back to my habits, which is being me. As soon as I did that,
it clicked.
Unlocked everything. Right. And I had more fun and I enjoyed it. And I was a better advocate and a better friend and a better person and a better player, tennis player, and all this kind of stuff. I just got to be me more. I was kind of thinking, oh, people might not like when I was in the media. All right. I'm one of the first people with a physical disability doing this, which sucks because the reason I'm doing it is the people that came before me. But do I have to change who I am so the Australian public I'd be digestible, so I look like you? And I was like, nah, it's going to be me and see what happens. And I'm so glad I was. And that's why I think the 3 biggest things people love using words like resilience and grit, buzzwords. My big 3 things are: 1, you got to work hard, unfortunately. I wish I had a shortcut for everyone. Secondly is the power and vulnerability, which I touched on before.
Yeah.
You are a product of the people around you, right? And being vulnerable to ask for help and get better and say when you're not having a good day is so important. And that 3rd thing is power and authenticity. And that's probably the scariest thing, because it took me 29 years to fully feel worthy of love and worthy of my disability. And I'm 34. And you've known me for how long? 15 years? And you're like, look at Dylan, he's on Triple J. He's cool. He's got it going on. I was just deep down, I didn't. And the reason I got there is I worked really hard on it. And I, got a mindset coach, Ben Crow, or I even just talk to friends more and genuinely, and, to get in that spot is pretty cool, and it really opens up all your life. That's a long answer, but
thank you for sharing that. Yeah. I think you went through, every, hard work, of course. I think as athletes, that's the baseline, right? And then you build your superpower, which is being yourself, and being vulnerable, I think, is one of the most important skills we can develop. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. And you and I are gold medal winning world champ athletes, right? That might be unrealistic for other people, but it's all relative to what you do.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's Grant Thornton's team, like someone listening to this who works within the 4 walls here, or whatever it is, right? It's all about literally having a crack and getting better every single day in whatever you want to do, right? It might be being a better mum or dad or friend. And I'm not saying you got to go see a mindset coach or get a psychologist. You might not want to, or can't afford it, whatever. Go for a walk outside and talk to a friend. Listen to a podcast, right? I just try and learn little bits every day just to get better, right? And I'm learning off you today. We're learning together. Like, I can't believe that we're sitting here doing like a full broadcast together. Like, this is so cool. Like,
it's just a coffee with a friend.
How nice is this though? But like, we don't know what we're doing. Like, you just learn on the fly and have a crack. And I think the reason you and I, I'll embarrass you, but like, we had the Paralympics. I was hosting for 9. You obviously competed, won. You then did the Paralympic broadcast, right? You did some commentary. I was so grateful and proud you did that, by the way. And I should have texted you because you could have just went and, had a party and you were like, no, I want to support the Paralympic Games. I'm actually getting a bit like tingle saying it because not many athletes would do that. I'm very grateful for that. But then I'm at the tennis and like, who's our like roaming reporter? It was you. I was like, you done this before? I was like, what are you doing here? Right?
I didn't know what I was doing.
You had no idea what you were doing. All right? I knew it. And I was like, yes. Because you just like, I'll do that. I'll put myself out there. I'm going to have a crack at doing it. You are awesome, right? And that's how you get things in life. Putting yourself in situations you might not be comfortable in and making your own luck in them.
Yeah, challenging yourself. That's where the growth happens, right?
And you enjoy it, right? A lot of people go, I don't want to do that because I'll embarrass myself. Okay, maybe. Who cares? No one cares about. No one's thinking about you. You think they are, but really they're just thinking about themselves. Get out there and have a crack at it. And I think that's, the biggest advice we can do because people think you and I've got it all sorted. We're like, we don't know. We just do stuff, right? We have a crack.
I think you never know how it's going to go, but you won't know unless you try, and you'll always regret it if you don't try, right?
Yeah.
What role does sport play for you now? I saw that you've
taken
up a bit of golf. Is that like social or is that competitive? I don't know.
I'm getting good though. I don't like saying I'm getting good at things, but I'm getting pretty good.
I saw a video of you that has like 3 million views.
It's crazy, yeah.
Single arm, like
I had to drive it like 200 plus meters one-handed. It's funny when I play golf with people because for the first 4 holes, they're really impressed and love it, and they get a bit sad because they're like, "Am I listening to a guy in a wheelchair with one arm who's sitting down?" But you know why I love it?
Why?
I put that video up, and I've always loved golf. Never thought I could play, and I met the team at Callaway, and they've bent the clubs down so they sit flat, like 21 degrees, and they're like, "This might not work." I did it at Mick Fanning's golf day because I'm mates with Mick, and I drove the cart with a putter because I can't use my feet, just handing out beers. That was my involvement because I couldn't play golf. I'm like, we'll figure this out. Anyway, I started, it worked, and I put that video up. It's got like 10 million across all platforms, whatever it is. The amount of people that messaged me and said, mate, I've had a car accident or I've lost my leg. I never thought I could play golf again. Because golf is probably not the most inclusive sport in the past. And they want to change that. Golf wants to change that. And they're like, so I'm like, I'll just keep putting videos up. And all these people are like, mate, I'm playing golf again with my wife. I didn't know I could do that. Or
that's awesome.
How cool is that?
That's
and
so
these are the things I like just doing. So I'm not going to do professional or anything, but like, I'm getting some cool, I'm retired.
Golf might be in the Paralympics.
If anyone, if you want, hey, I'll come. Hey, PGA, I'm ready. No, but like I'm working with Golf Australia now and doing stuff around inclusion and that. And that's what it's all about. And most importantly, it's 4 hours where my phone's off and I'm outside with a friend.
Yeah.
Which you and I don't get a lot of.
It's a good way to switch off, connect.
Yeah. And like, even just this, like, I keep forgetting we've got microphones here because we're just friends at catching up. And I probably don't prioritize that enough in my life. I know you don't either because we've got a lot on. But I've learnt when I was Australian of the Year, I did 245 days on airplanes.
Oh my gosh.
300 plus, talks and appearances and going to hospitals and meeting people and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't look after myself and I ran out of juice and I learned a valuable lesson. There's no point getting out there and trying to live a good life and support people if you're not looking after yourself. So I've got a lot better at, putting things in my diary to sit on the couch and do nothing.
Block it out.
Go for a walk with my dog sauce, whatever it is. Yeah,
you've got to preserve that time, don't you?
Definitely.
I saw that you were at the TikTok Awards yesterday and there's so many, creators online now who are breaking down those stigmas and using humor and showing their personality and maybe the challenges that other people might not usually consider and the incredible things that they can do. And you've talked about how you didn't used to see yourself on TV. You didn't used to, now you're the one on TV. You switch on the TV and you can see yourself on a TV show.
Just like to apologise to everyone. I'm everywhere. I'm a grand thought. I see Jess everywhere. It's probably like between you, me and Arnie Titmus, we're going on. There's a lot of us. Yeah, so hopefully you like us.
You'll get sick of us.
Hopefully you like us all. Yeah, we love Arnie too. Yeah.
Bump, Stripe,
actor,
Rocky Horror Show. You're an actor now. Tell us about that.
Probably one. Yeah, I've always wanted to. Just didn't tell anyone.
Okay.
2 reasons. One, I like sharing stories, storytelling, challenging myself. Secondary, when I saw a able-bodied, non-disabled actor sitting in a wheelchair playing a role, it used to kill me.
Yeah.
And that role was always a sympathetic, negative role where it's like the sad character or the car crash victim. And it's like, why can't we be like, a rock star or a murderer or like, whatever it is in the character base? And I was like, and we also don't have to play disabled characters all the time. We can just play a character.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I got cast in Bump, which was awesome, Strife with Asher Ketty. And then I did the Rocky Horror Show, theatre, singing and dancing with my pants off for 8 weeks, which was like a normal Saturday night, really. So, and I loved it. I was singing. I was full going for it. It was like I had like fishnets.
Did you have singing lessons, or
I used to sing
were you a theatre kid?
No, I was in the Australian Boys Choir.
Okay.
Do you know what the biggest regret I had in my life? I told you the one about not telling people when I got bullied, but the other fun one, I could sing a bit, and my mum, my voice broke, and it's now quite gravelly. G'day guys, Dylan Alcott.
Yeah.
And she's like, get singing lessons, and I was like, Mum, singing's lame. I want to play sport. I regret that. I wish I kept singing.
It's not too late.
No, anyway, I did Rocky Horror, and I did this role called the narrator, which is normally like a inverted commas famous person who plays a role, but then they come in and out of character. So that I'm the narrator, but then I go back to being like Dylan Alcott, and the crowd heckles you with stuff. They yell at all these crazy heckles, and you have to go, when they heckle, you go out of narrator mode and you go into Dylan mode. It's really fun.
Yeah.
But then they turn the narrator's mic off when you sing, and I was like, I can sing a bit, leave my mic on. And they not as good as my cast, unbelievable singers.
Yeah.
But they did leave my mic on just a little bit so you could hear me, which is quite
That's
nice.
so good.
And we choreographed the whole time warp because they were like, how you going to do the time warp? I'm like, let's do it together. So I like jumped to the left. I bunny hopped my whole wheelchair to the left. Like when I did the pelvic thrust, I did this. Like it was so fun. I was doing little wheelies and stuff for people listening.
So good.
So yeah, it was really cool. And like, again, I was the first person with disability ever in Rocky Horror. Globally. Cool. You know what I mean? It's been going for 100 years, whatever it is. Like, unbelievable. So, yeah, I keep getting, I've got a couple of really big auditions in America and stuff.
So some
really
exciting projects.
Yeah, it's all happening. Hopefully I get a few roles. And I'm also writing a TV show around disability, like a dark dramatic comedy, which is cool. I want to make a global documentary, like a travel documentary, like Anthony Bourdain style, based around the lived experience of people with disability. Already shot the pilot. So if anyone's listening, for any of the big streamers, reach out. As I said, just keep trying to come up with cool stuff and get it out there. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Love. I mean, I think everyone's picked up that you're good at talking.
Yeah,
you can tell a story.
And
you've also got your own podcast, Listenable. Have there been any, really memorable conversations, favorite guests?
Oh, you know what? The cool thing about Listenable, like I had, we mentioned the TikTok Awards. I had someone come up with a disabled kid crying and said, your podcast saved our lives.
Wow.
Because I heard a story of a kid similar, so same disability, but an adult achieving something. And they were like, I didn't know my kid had that chance. So it's about passing the mic to someone else. It's not about, obviously this is about me and you and I talking right now, but we need a bazillion more people with disability getting their opportunity to tell their story told. And that's one of my roles as a, leader in the community, is to be like, it's not all about me and Kurt Fernley and Matty Rosario and whoever. It's like there's so many other people with disability who deserve their opportunities to tell their stories told and to get to tell their own stories. And yeah, that's what we do at Listenable, which is pretty cool. And as I said, just trying to have lots of different cool ventures that I enjoy doing that hopefully support community and have fun doing it along the way.
I mean, you've done so many incredible things. I feel like you've lived so many different lives, and I'm
feel
sure
washed up and old. And then when I said I'm 34, I'm like, it's actually not that old.
It's so not old.
Yeah.
Your life's just starting.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in every single industry I can even think of. But what are you most proud of? Like, what has been the proudest moment in your life or career so far?
I just think just when I meet other people. I struggle with the DMs and stuff with people saying you're a legend. I know you do too. Like, it makes you feel awkward, doesn't it? Because you're just yourself. Like, people think I wake up and go, how am I going to advocate today or change the world? I never think about any of that. I wake up, it's hard enough going, I'm just going to wake up today and be myself. That's hard enough. And my 2 goals in life are 1, being a good person, and 2, enjoying my life. If you want to call me an advocate or just an advocate, go for it. But like, we don't control that, and I don't really think about it, right? I just kind of get up and do it. But yeah, when you sit back and you go, just seeing young kids with disability getting the opportunity in sport now because of the very, very, very small role that I played, that's awesome. At the Aussie Open, when there was, those 500 kids, epic, right?
Yeah.
And there's little glimpses of those moments all the time. But equally, I don't deserve all the credit. There's a lot of people that came before me and a lot of people that are doing it right now. We're just doing it together. And, you know, I just want to look back on my life and say I played a role in that, basically, genuinely. And hopefully we're doing that.
For many more years to come, I'm sure. If you were to, you know, you said that when you became Australian of the Year, was it in your speech where you said you used to be embarrassed by your disability, but now you love your disability? Yeah. It's given you so much, you know, purpose in this incredible life. It's who you are. You've gone from that, you know, changed it from that embarrassment into that pride. And it's given you the opportunity to have this life where you are yourself, you inspire others, you give them, you know, hope and excitement to be themselves. What do you want to see, you know, in the next 10, 20 years? How do you see that in the future?
Yeah, exactly that. And like, you know, it's so cool seeing the Paralympics mainstream now. I know there's only a few of us athletes who might be household names, but that's about to change. It's about to be hundreds, right? LA, Brisbane.
Milano Cortina coming up.
Exactly right. And
exciting.
And I love the fact that has to happen across everything. Mainstream schools, workplaces, walking down the street, dating apps, festivals, travel, right? I just want it to be so normalised. I think we're getting there. And as I said, just play my role in being able to do that.
I think, you know, a lot of athletes fear that transition out of sport and where they can go next. And I look at someone like you and you've had such almost like clear vision or clear purpose that whatever's next doesn't scare you, because it's just an exciting opportunity to discover another facet of yourself and see where it can take you. And so, yeah, you inspire me. I don't know what I want to do, but I'm enjoying doing all different things, and having the opportunity to do this with Grant Thornton is great, because you're someone that I consider you a friend, but also, you know, someone who's so inspiring. And I think this conversation has been amazing for me, but I'm sure for all the listeners as well. I love
that. And like big love to Grant Thornton as well, like genuinely care about inclusion and obviously such big supporters of you. So to invite me here to talk about it, very grateful.
Dylan, thank you so much for coming on the Remarkables podcast. It's been such a timely reminder that inclusion is about creating spaces where every voice matters and asking those questions and how we can live and lead with purpose. So you're an amazing advocate. You've built an incredible platform that amplifies all those voices. So thank you. And if you liked this conversation, you can find more on the Grant Thornton Australia website. I'm Jess Fox. Thanks for listening.